Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. I am out here in front of the well house. I've got Neo with me. Poor Neo got into some porcupines about 3 weeks ago.
Everybody, welcome to 7 Mile Hills Sanctuary, and welcome to Dog Talk with Lance and Robin.
We got them all out, but unfortunately he formed an abscess right underneath his left jowls and cheek. So it was a trial yesterday, a big time trial yesterday. We called everywhere, nobody had any openings at all. They said go to Pet ER. We went to Pet ER and checked in. It seemed positive that they were going to see us. But from 10 o'clock till 7 p.m., we saw no one until one of the clerks came out and apologized to us for such a long wait and nobody giving us any information. So, unfortunately, Neo and I slept most of the day right there on a bed waiting for our turn. So we left and we came home, and Neo ate his supper last night. And then this morning we got up and we said, well, we're going to try it again. Well, the old trusty standby, North Star Veterinary Hospital down in Palmer. They helped us out when we needed to get Saku in. If you recall the video that we did on Saku, I was asked to go pick him up, see if he would come to me, because the owner was in the hospital and he wouldn't let anybody get near him. So I went down there, and he had a mouthful of porcupine quills. And so when I called his name, he came right to me, asked me if he wanted to go for a ride. I opened the door, he got in. If you go back to that video, you'll see where North Star was there for us when we needed him. And when we had no other place else to go, North Star definitely was there to cover us. And you know, from here on out, I can tell you one thing. If I can't get into my regular vet, and no fault of her own, she just had a beautiful baby. But if that should happen again, North Star will be the first one I call, not near the end or when I'm desperate. They will be the first ones to be called. So I called them first thing this morning, 8 o'clock. They gave me a couple options, and because we're an hour away, we weren't able to get in by their first option, but we did get in by 10:30 this morning, and they checked him out. They found 5 more quills in addition to the 300 plus that Lance and I had already pulled out of him. They found 5 more in his on the right side of his jaw and his cheek. So that the thing about quills is they could take months for them to start coming out and rearing their ugly heads. And unfortunately, sometimes from either the porcupines being pulled, the quills, or the quill themselves causing a bacteria, and then you end up with an abscess. And so that was the case with Neo. And so the vet went in there, she cleaned him up and cleaned it out, and he now has 2 tubes in the side of his mouth, and that they want to continue to drain for about 4 days. So he's being a good trooper about it. He's not our happy-go-lucky, jumping all over the place pup right now. He's just kind of recovering from the surgery, and unfortunately he's going to have to wear this cone of shame for a while, at least until the drains come out. So I just got him back. He got out of surgery this afternoon around 3, and I went down and picked him up, and here he is. Bless his heart. So, if you're in Alaska and you need emergency service, or if you need a good vet, check out North Star. Because if you can't get in from your own provider that you would trust, and I would definitely trust my regular provider, But I'll tell you what, North Star is definitely right up that ladder. And they were just cordial. They were friendly. They kept me up to date. When I left the hospital after Neo went in, they called me and they let me know what they were going to do before anything was ever done. And then they called me when he was coming out. The doctor called me twice to see if I had any questions or to let me know what she had done. Very professional, very, very sweet people that took care of our precious cargo here and many other people's precious cargo. They are definitely the people to look for. So if you're looking for a good vet, check North Star. Well, I know that was a long drawn out thing about Neo. Neo is important to us. He's our wheel dog. I'm not keeping him, or I didn't want to save his life before when he ate 12 stones and they had to call a specialist in just because he's my wheel dog. I did it because he's a part of our family. He is our family. Him and the rest of the dogs sitting out there. He is an important piece. Without him, you know, there's a link missing. And if anybody has a team, or they have one dog, or they have 3 or 5 dogs, or whatever they got, or even a cat, they're now family members when they become a part. They understand each other's personality, and the settlers are so compassionate. You know, when you're hurting, I had a terrible migraine yesterday. He just laid right beside me. He wasn't feeling very good himself, but we laid together all day yesterday in Pet ER. So I was able to get some rest because of the migraine, even though we never got seen by the vet. He was able to rest too. So they're good pups. And if you got an animal, you know what I'm talking about. So he is on the road to recovery. He will be back to his bouncy self, right? He will be back to his bouncy self, and he'll be jumping into Lance's arms just like he did before. We'll be going back to the vet where they're going to take his tubes out on Tuesday if he hasn't knocked them out before then, and make sure the stitches are all still intact. He got several stitches along here, along the side of his mouth, where they had to go in there and remove that abscess. They checked his paw out because there was another one there, and also the ones on the side of his mouth. So he's got stitches on different areas of his mouth of some of the quills that we didn't see or couldn't get to when we pulled them out 3 weeks ago. And like I said, they could take up one person on our Facebook said 9 months. So that's not unseen. I mean, that happens. And the only problem is you know, they can cause an infection, and they can cause the abscesses, and they cause pain. So poor Neo will be on his antibiotics, and I'll give him something for comfort later on to keep the swelling down. And we're going to take him inside so he can get some rest and get him out of this sun. It's actually, the sun is bright, but it's actually comfortable, and it's cool. You can see I got the goosebumps going on my arm. So it's cool even with the sun out. So I think that we're going to have an Indian summer, which is not a bad thing. Y'all have a blessed day. Enjoy your summer while you can, and take care of those precious pups. And like I said, if you're in Alaska and you're in our area and you need a good quality team, North Star is the one for you. Take care. You ready to go in? Let's go.
You better go tell Mama. Mama's right behind you. Go tell her. Go tell Mama you want good boys get treats. Can you tell her? Tell her. What do good boys do to get treats? That's right, they sit. That's a good boy, Neo. Tell Mama you want to get a treat. See him look right at that box? No one. Tell me he's not smart. Good boy, Neo.